Chris Mearkle, aka Captain Destiny, aka Merk the Jerk, affiliation, East Coast Ramp Design, 5.9er till death. It's a good dish. First punk show I ever went to was, I saw Government Issue. At the Anthrax in Norwalk, Connecticut. I was young and scared. Government Issue was insane. The guy was lead singer. Was like reaching up into the air, like grabbing it, like non-existent stuff. He was tripping on something. I was just, it was the best experience I ever had. Just punk rockers, skinheads, hardcore dudes, as far as the eye could see. As soon as I saw it, I knew immediately, I want this. Well, obviously it goes without saying, the 5.9 Death Crew. Best skate teams I've ever seen. Some of the most big-hearted, big-dicked bucks I've ever seen ride a skateboard. They got your back in the pit, they got your back in the bar, they got your back in the pool. Santa Cruz, the early 90s, late 80s Santa Cruz team. Had a phenomenal team. And not only that, but the Santa Cruz wheel team, the Speed Wheels team. On top of that was even better because they could bring in dudes like Hosoi and Denny Way and all that stuff. So I take that back. The Santa Cruz Speed Wheels team was hands down the best. You watch that old video, Santa Cruz Speed Freaks. Just epic because they weren't pigeonholed into board companies. They could do wheels and the whole nine, and they just, I mean, Jason Jesse to Saba to Denny Way to, I mean, God, it goes on and on. And the Lava Boys. They brought, as far as we were concerned, they were a slap in the face to, you know, the 1984 generation that was, you know, in love with the Powell boys. Alva Boys slapped us in the face when we were getting older and let us realize that punk rock's alive and it doesn't have to be Dayglow shit. Bands I wish I saw of any style, any generation, any singer. Johnny Cash, obviously.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire.
I had an opportunity once to see him. My older sister worked for a production company when he was alive, and she could have got me tickets, and for one reason or another, I never saw him. I've seen Fugazi about a gazillion times, but I've never seen Minor Threat.
We're just a minor threat. We're just a minor threat. We're just a minor threat. We're just a minor threat.
I think they were long gone and broken up by the time I was old enough to get on the road. I've been thinking about this one. I know it's kind of cheating because it was supposed to be off the cuff, but I've been watching this series for a while. And what's really funny is I actually saw this picture today, the first time I saw it in, 20 some odd years. There's a picture of Mike Conroy at Trashmore doing a tuck knee invert. And this was circa late 80s or mid 80s. And this tuck knee invert, he would do these tuck knee inverts where he would tuck them so hard he would touch the back of his head with his helmet. And it's so hard to find. It was in Trans World, I know that, and it was in the Pro Zone or Agro Zone. I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was an epic picture, and if you look real closely at it, he has death bolts. He's got death bolts that are fucking that long. Another picture that completely changed my life was the Alpha Boys team shot, the Chicago '88. As soon as I saw that, I had my sister take me out into New York City and get me a leather jacket. It was 2 sizes too big at the time, but I eventually grew into it. But that picture, even though it's not skating, was just, I don't know, it spoke volumes. And you still see skate team photos to this day. Nothing ever compares. Bad Brains.
In a quest for the test, it's fulfilling the team, and everybody's always on it just to see themselves. But the fucking mouth that you just don't fit, never stand out open empty anyone else. So you tell me why there's after the line, trying to make me up confused about the USA. When the fuck in my mind,
Bad Brains with their energy level, Bad Brains. Yeah, Bad Brains, I would think. I mean, no one can argue with that. I would also say Murphy's Law.
why don't you drink fucking beer? What's the matter? Are you queer? No extras, it's all the same. So why must you play fucking games?
Although they might fall under the more hardcore genre, but you never have a bad time at Murphy's Law. When I first started skateboarding, it was obviously Caballero.
Heroes fall into the ground.
I loved Cab. I emulated the hell out of them. But as I grew up and started, seeing different styles and things along those lines, Neil Blender. Just gnarly, and it took me a while because when I was younger, I didn't get them. Best punk singer of all time, HR. His energy level is through the roof. This is kind of parallel with the best punk band, Jimmy Gestapo and Murphy's Law too.
I'm on a quest, it's top priority to find my friend who means so much to me.
But also Lee Ving.
I don't care about you. Fuck you. I don't care about you. I see Hollywood Boulevard, welfare hotel.
I don't know. Something about Lee Ving just makes me giggle, makes me just want to jump around and have a good time. So, HR, Jimmy Gestapo, Lee Ving. Lock them all in a room, throw them an ounce of weed and a case of beer and see what happens. Jason Jesse, Virgin Mary model on Santa Cruz. It was a flawless shape, flawless. They were so hard to find, and we would buy them in bulk sometimes, 10, 15 at a time when bigger boards were hard to find. I don't know if this equates to the best, but it may be most memorable, because this club I was talking about earlier, the Anthrax in Norwalk, Connecticut, we had the luxury of being in Connecticut. If you were privy to the hardcore scene at the time, it's a lot like sports between, Boston and New York. These guys would just duel it out constantly, and hardcore music was no different. But being in Connecticut, the Boston bands would come down and the New York bands would come up. And so we got to see both of those scenes a lot. And I think it was like a Warzone, Sick of It All Killing Time show or something like that. But all the DMS guys came up from New York, the Doc Martin Skins. And for whatever reason, the FSU guys, the Fuck Shit Up guys, came down from Boston. And I was maybe 15 years old, 16 years old, 80 pounds, soaking wet little punk rocker. And I saw, I think, the biggest rumble I've ever seen in my life. Like, this was in the back alley. I saw chains, like brass knuckles, this dude wrapped this chain around another skinhead's head and popped it. I saw, it was the scariest thing I ever saw, but at the same time, like, shocking. And I know that's not the best, but it's the most memorable. And that's the one that sticks with me still to this day. Even though I can't remember exactly what band was playing. No Dewey's. Don't drink and drive. It's a lot more trouble than it's worth. Before you go out, if you plan on drinking or doing drugs, to each his own, whatever you want to do, have a plan. Have a plan before you leave that night. Just be like, if I'm going out, okay, who's going to drive? Who's not going to drive? Have a plan. That way you don't get caught with your pants down. Build your own shit. We're getting up there in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. We're tired of building skateboards for you. You guys got to start jumping in on the crew and building your own. Seize the opportunity. Cultivate other interests outside of skateboarding. Because sooner or later, your body's going to give out and realize you've dedicated 30, 40, 20 years of your life to something that you can't do anymore. And it's a hard feeling. It's the 5.9, it's May 9th, 5.9 Death Cruise annual holiday extravaganza at the compound in Cattleboro, Mass. Loud ones playing. As of now, I gotta say it goes out to Iggy Tall. It always goes out to Iggy Talls, man. He is unappreciated, unfunded, underloved. No one can just... He's the best. Like, hugs and kisses all around Iggy Talls. VIP for sure. The first original Caballero. The first Dragon by VCJ. All of his graphics were the best, but There's something about that dragon still to this day just tickles my fancy, I think. It was probably an 8th Street shirt. It had to have been, because I was a big 8th Street nut there for a little while. I loved the Hell Concave, and I had a hard on for the Godoys, so had to have been an 8th Street shirt. Sean Miller at Cheapskates doing big old stale fish to disasters. But they weren't just disasters, they were like pop disasters. He would slam them so hard he would pop off the lip and bring them in. I'm sure a lot of some of my personal friends would say that I would hold that title. I was relatively well known for my slams, which kind of bumps me out because I used to think I kind of skated all right, but apparently I fell better than I skated. Jake Brown at the Gravity Games in 2004.
What the hell's going on around here?
That was obviously there. I think the most stylish skater ever is Craig Johnson.
Fuck, fuck, fuck! That's what we say! Fuck, fuck, fuck! That's what we play! Fuck, fuck, fuck! No matter what they think! Fuck, fuck, fuck! We're awesome anyway!
Sketchy equals style. People will probably be like, Soy, Miller, whatever. Craig Johnson, if you're sketchy, you're stylish. Keep your feet on at all costs. Chris Miller's Crossbone. Comes to mind immediately. Had to be the double truck one that had 4 trucks on it. Boom, 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 boom. Either that or the flying board that had the 2 wings coming off the sides, and it was fiberglass and it had 2 trucks on it. All this shit they were trying to invent in the 70s was just trying to reinvent the wheel. Oh! The crossbone, or not the crossbone, the coffin cut wheels that Santa Cruz did. Had the groove in the middle. It was supposed to be faster because it created less friction. That was a trip. They actually did work. They rode faster.